we avoid the issues based upon the security policies, terms and conditions. So some of the major topics which we can discuss in the cloud computing security is computer security services, and cloud computing security issues, dangers and vulnerabilities, attackers, threats, concerns, assets, cloud computing security, domains, solutions and recommendations. Okay. So these are some of the major topics which will be coming under cloud computing security. Okay. So we'll discuss each and every topic one by one. So coming to the security service, that we can say is a triangle, CIA. So this thing you should remember. CIA is one of the major concept behind the security services which is provided around the world. Okay, so one is based upon confidentiality. Okay, how it is confidential. Okay, and integrity and availability. Okay, so this is the triangle which is always running through the security service when you are working in a network or when you are connect your system with the cloud. So what are the major concerns we are going to face during the data transaction? So we'll discuss one by one. So what is confidentiality? So confidentiality is nothing but the concept behind the authorized to know the data. Okay. So suppose I am sending one email to some XY. That XY should receive the data and he can open the file and he can read the data. Z should not read the data. So if some Z is came to know about what data I have sent to you, then it is not confidential. Okay. The data is in protected or private, or it is coming under firewall or some security. So then it is called as a confidential data. Okay. So which should be read between two people. Okay. That is source to destination. That's it. So that is a major concern in the security, cloud security. How we are going to protect the data in a safe way. Okay. So apart from this, we go for the next one, integrity. Okay. So data has not been tampered with. Okay. So whatever the file I am sharing with you, it should reach you properly. Okay. So that is the integration. It should have continuation and connection among the. Suppose I am sending one audio file or a video file or a PPT. So it should have the content of the unit 3 or unit 4. In unit 3 file, I should not have unit 4 data. Okay. So that is the thing, integrity is going to work behind the cloud security. And another part is available. Okay. How much reliable and available to the end user. I'm sending one PPT for material for my students. So it should reach all the 59 students which is going to use in the classroom. Okay. Never lost, machine never find. Okay. If I send that particular group email ID to deliver my content material, the material should delivered as it is what I have sent. Okay. There is nothing about the data lost or there is a disconnection between the internet. Okay. It will be available for the end user. That is the concept behind the cloud computing. Okay. The cloud computing security makes sure of these three things. One is C and I and A. Okay. So confidential, integrity and availability. You should not forget this concept. So these are the very good and interesting concept. So where you can able to identify how to protect the data and how to manage the data among the different user using the system. Okay. So that's why we are going for the next concept that is called as cloud security, a major concern. Okay. So what are the concerns that are there? So how to manage the cloud security based upon the options, based upon the service provider premises, how he is giving the connection to the end user. Okay. So because security is always one of the major concern in most of the IT industry. When you go for IT world, the data loss or data corruption is always there. Okay. So that's why security is a concern arising because both customer data and program are residing at provider premises. Okay. So consider that Amazon is one person, AWS, they are providing the cloud services, and they should also give the security solution. Okay, because security is always a major concern in OS, operating system. That's why we have platform as a service, okay, and software as a service, SaaS and PaaS and IaaS, infrastructure as a service. All these SaaS, IaaS, and PaaS should have the security, the high protected way of providing the services to the customer. Okay, I'm the customer. I'm going to use Salesforce or Amazon or something. So my data, it should be kept safely. Okay. Suppose in my WhatsApp or my Facebook account, I'm keeping my personal photos. They should not be shared among different people. Okay, which is coming under private mode, which should be available for the customer only. Okay. So that's why there will be a customer code for each and every customer who is accessing the Facebook, okay, or customer ID. Assume that Zoom also, we have customer ID and password. Okay, those who are having customer ID and password can connect the Zoom session, Zoom meetings. Others cannot go for that connection. So that is called as provider premises. So what are the challenges? So challenges which we are facing for the past 10 to 15 years, okay, because of using this cloud. Okay, so you can see here red line, security 74.6. Okay, so security is the one of the major challenge or top priority challenge. Okay, many people face the problem. Okay, even in automobile, in medical field, in IT sector, in banking sector, so every sector have the issue in security. Okay, apart from performance, availability, and with in-house IT, not enough ability to customize, cost more. So back in-house regulatory requirements, major suppliers. Okay, apart from these all, so security is one of the major concern. Okay, so how to protect my automobile industry data, how to keep the patient's records safely, how to maintain that IT company, IBM or Infosys, how to they maintain their data safely, and how to protect their server. So that's why a lot of money invested in security, because security is one of the major concern around the globe, how to protect our data. So why cloud computing having multiple threats? Okay, because we are connected via internet. Okay, so that's why there is a lot of chance to have multiple threats. Okay, that's traditional system security mostly means keeping bad guys out. Okay, but when you go for the current scenario, current world, so mostly everything, all the transaction, your banking transaction, your Gmail, your Yahoo Mail, your there is attendance maintenance system. So everything coming under this cloud environment. Okay, so that's why we need authentication and access control system or impersonate existing user. Okay, so these are the some of the threats, so which will be always there. So that hackers or these people, attackers, always ready to hack your system, hack your server, or hack your data. They will get benefit out of it. Okay, so that's why cloud need a very good high-end security system to keep the customer data. Okay. So why we have still you can get the news, Pentagon data is accessed, and somebody steal Trump mail, so somebody control the Tesla car. Okay, so why these kind of issues are there? Okay, where it is coming from? Loss of control. Okay, lack of trust and multi-tenancy. Okay, so whenever the million or trillion users using the physical system or physical structure which is available, take this earth. Okay, so people are using this earth, now everything is out of control. Okay, so when you go for pollution, okay, air pollution is one of the big threat for this earth. So similarly in cloud security also there is no control. Who is copying the data, who is downloading, who is uploading the data, and what kind of program he uploaded, and what kind of data is shared among the user. Okay, even a single file you can send one phishing data, so where that data will be read by me, so which will give my laptop password or my mobile information, whatever it's me. Okay. So and lack of trust mechanism. Okay. I'm not ready to trust anyone to access my contacts or my camera or something like that. Always I will go put it in disable or block mode. Okay. And multi-tenancy, because multiple users are using at the same time. Okay, see, around 50 participants are using the same session which is happening now. So who is there may be a chance of any intruder or any attacker can attack the system and steal the data from anyone's system if somebody have good knowledge in computer. And these problems already exist in mainly third-party management models. Okay, that is called a self-managed cloud. Still have security issues, but not related to the above loss of control, lack of interest, and multi-tenancy. Okay, so there will be always nobody ready to trust the third party. Okay, the third party, it's an intruder or attacker. So that's why I will give my session password and my ID password to my students only. I will not share with anyone, because somebody who is unauthorized can enter into our group, and they can also listen what's happening in our group, okay, in our class particularly. Okay. So what will happen? So finally, this kind of threats or attackers doing more attacks on the network. So consumer, as a consumer, Airtel is giving 1 GB data. So I never use the 1 GB, but unfortunately, I'm having only 10 MB in my account. So who use the data? Okay. So there may be a chance of consumer loss of control. Okay. So in what way? Data application resources are located with the provider, and user identity management is handled by the cloud. Okay. So now cloud have the full control. Who is the user, who is using the data, and how much data is consumed and how much data is remaining. Okay, so that's why each and every user have the access of control. Okay, security policies, and they're managed by the cloud provider. You can change your pick, and you can change your password, you can change your theme, and you can whatever you want. So everything have the full access by the user. Okay, so because user identities is managed by the cloud with the help of the user only. Okay, so that's why there is a security policies and control rules and environments are managed by the cloud provider. Who will give this option? So cloud provider. So take this this panel also. We have one option, security. Okay, so please the security options will be there, that I can lock the meeting, enable waiting room, share screen, or rename themselves. Remove participants also. So these are some of the options which is given for me as a host, where I can disconnect anybody from this meeting, or I can join somebody in the meeting, or I can totally lock the meeting, which will not allow anybody into this meeting. Okay? So that is another concept behind this threat, cloud computing threat. So what consumer can do? So consumer relies on provider to ensure data security and privacy, resource availability, monitoring and repairing of service and resources. Okay. So these are the other important elements of the consumer loss of control. So consumer, I am the consumer, I may not have the direct control on data security and privacy, and what are the resource availability I cannot utilize maximum, and I cannot monitor or I cannot repair anything happens. Suppose now the meeting maybe get disconnected, I can do only one thing. I can again try to connect the internet. That's it. But I cannot do any repairing or control the services and resources, because we all are rely on cloud. So now this class also running because of the cloud. So if we don't have security option, so anybody can hack our class, and it may come to end easily. That's why there is a very less control on the consumer. Okay. And what is multi-tenancy? So mostly we discussed probably in third unit, I think so. So multi-tenancy is a very interesting concept, already we discussed. So multiple independent users share the same physical infrastructure. Okay. So finally it leads to the attacker can legitimately be in the same physical machine as the target. Okay. So assume that one person is coming from US or UK having coronavirus. So there is no coronavirus in India till assume that maybe March 1. So once the attacker, so he came into our physical infrastructure, the person having that virus can be spreaded among the all million or trillion people in the group, okay, in the country. Okay. Similarly, the multi-tenancy is one of the concept which is have the chance of spreading these kind of virus or any phishing or attacking activity in the physical machine as a target. Okay, so it is easy for anyone because million and trillion users are using the common space. Okay, all we are using Amazon Web Service. So any one intruder can interrupt the system, and there may be a chance of disconnection of data, loss of data, and or there may be a chance of that's phishing attack by the attacker. Okay, that may be called as hacker. Hacker can easily take your data or maybe disconnect your connection, or maybe there may be a chance of shut down your process also. Okay. So that's why this multi-tenancy always one of the major concept, useful concept, but it have the chance of attacker can legitimately be in the same physical machine as a target. Okay. You cannot find who is that person having coronavirus. You cannot predict, but he may spoil the total infrastructure. So that is the why cloud computing have the lot of threats in multi-tenancy. Okay. And how can we predict who is the attacker? Okay, yes, my computer got a virus, or my laptop or mobile phone is hacked by some hacker, or my car may be hacked by some hacker. So how to find who is the attacker? Is it insider or somebody from outside? Okay, so there are two chances. So somebody already maybe around 51 participants are there. So among these 51 participants, maybe one person can disconnect or maybe hack the meeting, and he can stop the meeting. Okay. Or somebody from outside who is not having unauthorized person, who is outside person, can be intruder or network attack. Okay. So insider, what he can do? So among the 51 participants, what he can do? So malicious employee at client, and malicious employees at cloud provider, and cloud provider itself. Okay, maybe Amazon Web Service itself, they can send one virus or hack your system and employee detail. How Facebook, sometimes they steal the customer data. Similarly, okay, so there may be a chance, maximum chance by the cloud service provider. Cloud service provider itself, there may be a lot of chance to steal your data, or maybe one of the employee at the client side, okay, or one of the employee from the cloud provider. Okay, these are the chances where there may be a stealing of data, or there may be a phishing attack, or maybe some hacking activity can be happen. One is insider, and another person may be outsider, intruder or network attackers. Huge number of intruders and network attackers are there outside the world. Okay. Anytime they can hack your data, hack your device, or hack your information easily. Okay. And another part is what is the capability of attacker, okay, at client side and at cloud provider side. Okay. So at client side, what he will do? He will know my password. Okay, maybe 50 persons are there. They may know my Zoom meeting password, my ID and password. Everybody know. Okay, learn password and authentication information, and gain control of virtual machines. Okay, somebody can also take control over this PPT, or they can start draw one picture or image, or maybe remove somebody from this in this meeting, or add somebody from this meeting. Okay, if they share this meeting password, anybody can come inside and anybody can listen what is happening in this meeting. Okay. A cloud provider, log client communication. Log client communication is it from the provider. He know, the cloud provider know how many emails you have sent, how many emails you received, how many data you have deleted, what are the images you have uploaded, what are the videos you have downloaded. All the logs will be, each and every activity which is performed by you is can be easily recorded from the cloud provider side. Okay, client side, he may know your authentication and password, and provider side, he know everything, each and every activity. Okay. Login into your Facebook and WhatsApp, what kind of images you shared, what kind of information you forwarded, you received. All this can be easily learned or easily identified by the client and cloud provider side. Okay. This is one side. So another side, okay, in cloud provider side, what he can do, okay, capability. Okay. As a cloud provider, assume that I am the AWS provider or a Facebook cloud provider. I can read unencrypted data, and I can possibly peek into virtual machines or make copies of virtual machines. I can easily log into your account. I can take all your pictures, videos, image, everything I can copy. So whatever you kept on cloud, so only for cloud. So whatever the data you kept in cloud, I can easily know. Okay, and I can monitor network communication application pattern. Okay, as if I am Airtel cloud provider, I can easily monitor you, whom you are talking to, you, how much time you have spoke with them, and what is the duration, and how many calls you made, how many incoming calls you received. All this data I can easily track you. Okay, and as an outside attacker, okay, if attacker from outside, as a provider, provider know each and every part about you. So what will the outside attacker do? Okay, listen to the network traffic and insert malicious traffic and probe cloud structure and launch denial of service. Okay, DOS. Okay, so these are the thing can outside attacker can do. Okay, so outside attacker can know how many participants are attending in this particular in our session. So he can easily know 49 connections are there, 49 IPs are connected to the host. I am the host. Okay, my IP address also he may know. Okay, and he can insert some program that will create the network traffic that will leads to end of the meeting. Okay, so he can create it's an unnatural network traffic he can create. Okay, and probe cloud structure. Okay, so he can easily modify the structure of the cloud which is provided by the cloud provider. Okay, and immediately he can launch denial of service. So denial of service is nothing but it's a kind of program, so that will monitor or that will run on the client system and tell each and everything and record each and everything and send to the destination. That is outside attacker. Okay. So this is what can be done by an outside attacker. Okay. And how to find so some of the challenges for the attacker. So if I am attacker, assume that you or me is an attacker. So very important thing, I have to first find your IP address. Okay. So and where I am located. Okay, maybe in Tirupati or India or somewhere. It is a big task for the attacker to find where is the location. That's why we should always disable our location. We should always disable our camera. We should always disable our mic. Okay, because attacker cannot easily find where you are. Okay, how to be co-located with the target in the same physical machine. Okay, and when he will look for the solution to connect with this IP. Okay, maybe I have a very good firewall, or maybe I have very good, it's a OTP method, two-step verification for my email. So how to crack that? How to crack the code? So this is the thing attacker may find solution more fastly. Okay? And how to gather more information about the target. Suppose I am the target, or you may be the target. He will try to collect the more information about the what is the IP address, what is his name, where is the location, and what is the password, and what is the domain DNS server name. So everything he will collect, and he may try to easily track your computer. Okay, that these are some of the challenges for the attacker. As attacker, he should find the location, that is your IP address, and how can he identify the target by gathering the information. This is one of the major challenges for the attacker. As an attacker, he should know the location. Without knowing the location, he cannot do anything. Okay. Or without knowing my password, he cannot hack my system. So these are the threats. Okay. So threats will become in different form. Okay. As a computer engineers, we may have the form of denial of services or hackers, or in the way of network attackers, or in different forms. In different forms, different kind of data loss may occur. They can easily steal the data from anywhere or from any location. So that's why the code is called as stride. Okay. So how to organize the threats using stride? Okay, the threats may be in different form. Already I told. Okay, so one of the major causes is the DOS, denial of service, and simply you can remember stride, STRIAD. Okay, these are the way we can organize the major threats in the cloud security. Okay, when you go for cloud, what are the threats? Spoofing identity, tampering with data, and reputation, information disclosure, and denial of services, and elevation of privilege. These are the 6 ways we can organize the threats in the cloud space. So these are the maximum 6 way you can organize easily. That is stride. So stride is the kind of threat which is having IA, confidentiality, integrity, and availability. So, and these are the concepts we have discussed in yesterday class. Today we start discuss about some more deep concept. Who is insider and outsider? So in the video itself, you can able to understand who is getting the data. Okay, that is, and who is receiving the data. Okay, so cloud service provider and cloud service consumer. Okay. These are the 2 major concepts behind the cloud environment. So very important thing, we should aware of attacker. Okay, so how the attacker will attack your system, okay, to get the data or phishing data, or collect your encryption key. If the person know about your encryption key technique you are using, then he can easily hack the system. Even your DNS also. The person know your DNS, he can able to understand where you are doing the activity, all the connection activity. You can easily monitor. That's why we discussed in the yesterday class that is coming under stride. Okay, spoofing identity, tampering with data, and reputation and information disclosure. So these are the some of the concepts always running behind a cloud network security. So some of the concerns which we start discuss today. So up to last class we have discussed about stride. Okay. So what is stride, and who is insider, who is outsider, what is network cloud security, and some of the basic concepts. There are major 2 concerns when you use the internet with the help of cloud. Okay. How much secure is the data? Okay. As Simon have the strong encryption technique, he never worry about how to take the data from source to destination. Okay. Because all the source to destination data are based upon how the data is traveling from source to destination with encryption key or without encryption key. Okay. Whether your data is safely locked by using the encryption technique, or you don't have any encryption technique. So that is the secret behind how you are using the cloud security. And how much secure is the code? Okay. So that is authentication code. For example, your OTP, your password, your domain name server, your IP address, okay, and each and everything which is you are using in the cloud environment, that will be coming under code. Okay. And security issue from virtualization. Okay. So virtualization is one of the major concept behind the cloud, okay, because cloud is working behind the virtual environment. Everything we are using virtual in cloud. Okay. Virtual servers are playing the vital role in receiving and sending the data. Okay. So virtualization provides, that is provider provides, is using para virtualization or full system virtualization. Okay. So partial visualization or a complete visualization. You may have direct access from Amazon, or you may have partial utility of your using the server. Suppose Amazon have assigned 10 terabyte. So partially, if you use 5 terabyte out of 10 terabyte, then it will come under para visualization. But Amazon, if you have full access, okay, 10 terabyte to 10 terabyte, then it is coming under full visualization. You will get separate virtual environment. So what we will do normally, when you use the common physical system, there may be a chance of phishing attack. Okay? So similarly, if you in current scenario in country, if you go and travel in public transport or something like that, the virus may spread more fastly. Okay, so that's why the security also giving the solution for cloud people, those who are using, they should have instance isolation. How we should isolate ourselves to protect from coronavirus. Same, if you want to protect your computer or your data from unauthorized user, you also should isolate. You also should have unique data encryption technique. Okay, so that is coming under instance isolation. Okay, ensuring that different instances running on the same physical machine are isolated from each other. Okay, because whenever you connect through some web server, website, maybe Amazon.com, consider that. So each and every person having their separate instance. Okay, at the same time, million users are connecting. There may be a million instances running on the same physical machine or isolated from each other. Why? Because for safety. Okay, so safety is a concern. We have to isolate ourselves in the home. So during the lockdown period, we should not come outside. Similarly, in some of the major security concern in the cloud is you have to isolate your instances. Okay, the total control of administration on host operating system and guest operating system. Okay, so the administrator, maybe Amazon or Salesforce.org or maybe Windows or Azure or something like that. The administrator have full control. Okay, and current virtual machines do not offer perfect isolation. Okay, there may be a chance of having many bugs found in all popular virtual machines. Okay, allowed to escape from virtual machine. So there are a lot of bugs. So day by day, how technology is developing. So similarly, there is a lot of issues are running because of bugs. You take any Windows operating system, still it have bugs, and Linux also have bugs. And Unix, you can more secure than Windows, but still people can attack easily or hack easily. Okay, so virtual machine monitor should be root secure, meaning that no level of privilege within the virtualized guest environment permits the interference with the host system. Okay, so why Linux, Unix are more secure? Because from root level itself, we can have our own encryption technique. But Windows, they don't disclose what is the root secure. Okay, that is operating system will have root. Okay, so if you go to the root, so it should be more secure. That is something like base. Okay, that operating system platform should be more secured compared to other instances or other virtual machines. So the root is always have high privilege, okay, high priority. Okay. So we should secure that particular. We used to say there is host system. So I am the hosting this meeting. So I should be secured. I should have some good antivirus or firewall to conduct this meeting. If I don't have, then there may be a chance of a disconnection of all the participants, those who are using this ID, so they cannot attend the class. Okay, so the root should be more secure. Then only it can provide more better service to the customers. Okay. So these are some of the security issues from virtualization. Okay, very simple solution is instance isolation. In cloud also we need isolation, self isolation to protect from coronavirus. Similarly, so there is instance isolation should be maintained in the cloud security also. Okay. So and streamline security analysis process. Okay, so how we can streamline cloud security? Okay, so it is very easy. So identify the assets, identify the threats, identify the countermeasures, and appropriate for organization independent analysis. Okay, so this is what our country is doing. Okay, to protect from corona, so we should identify how much assets we are having and what are the threats to protect from the coronavirus. Okay, and what are the measures we have taken to contain or defeat this coronavirus. Similarly, cloud also have the same principle. We have to identify the assets. Okay? Which assets are we are trying to protect, whether your laptop or it's a server or your mobile phone or maybe your hardware components or your router or your cameras. Okay, so there are many things are there. Okay, everything anybody can hack. Okay, so first we have to identify asset. Maybe I have to keep safe of my security cameras. Somebody hack the camera, they can watch easily what is happening in the college or my office or services. Okay, so first identify the asset, then threats. Okay, so who are the attackers? Who can attack our system? Okay, for example, it's very easy. Indian servers can be easily attacked by the Pakistan people. Okay, if we identify our enemies, then we can protect easy. Okay, we can block all the lines from that network lines from the Pakistan. Then they cannot attack easily. Okay, our servers. Okay, so what attacks can be mounted and what other threats are there? There is natural disaster or maybe the disaster recovery plan we have for a natural disaster, as well some attackers also. Okay, so these are the threats. One is phishing attack by the unauthorized person, and another attack is natural disaster, something like earthquake, flood, or something like that. Okay. And what are the measures we can take? Okay, how can we counter these attacks or those attacks? Okay, it's very simple. We should have a very good DR system, that is disaster recovery system. We already discussed in previous classes. So if you follow those steps, so then that are the coming under countermeasures. Okay, I should have proper firewall. I should have proper antivirus security software. I should have safe, maybe stay away from this area, something like earthquake or some areas like there is a chance of flood or rain. So these kind of areas we should not select. We should select the some perfect area where you can run your company or keep your head office there. Okay, keep your server there to maintain safety of the data. Okay, and appropriate for organization independent analysis. We have no organizational context or policies. Okay, so when you come for the security, so there is no chance of giving any policies according to the organization policy, because every organization have different policies. In cloud, cloud service provider may have some unique policies. Okay, maybe you can see now creating during the creation of one Gmail account, you have to accept the terms and conditions and the legal policies. Okay, so that's why in Streamline security analysis process there is no perfect or correct or defined policies. Okay, so these are the things we can use for streamline the security: assets, threats, and countermeasures. Okay, the three things you should not forget. So these are, by using this way you can streamline. Okay, where is the problem? So what is the source of the problem? What is the cause of the problem? And how can we protect, okay, from the threats? Okay. So another identify assets and principal concept is customer data and customer application and client computing device. Okay. So these are from customer side. So one is from organization side. We have discussed about assets, threats, okay, and countermeasures. Now, so Amazon or Salesforce.com or Azure may have millions of customers. Okay. So I may have keep my company running in Amazon Web Service system. So how to keep customer data safety? That is already we discussed CIA. So confidentiality, integrity, and availability. Okay, the customer can connect the internet anytime, and data should be available for him anytime, 24/7. Okay. and customer should have username and password, and customer should have tamper-free data. Okay, that is integrity. Okay, there is a trust between Amazon and me. So I am the Amazon customer. I am using Amazon Cloud. So I should have some hope and faith on the services. Okay. And customer applications similarly. So some of the applications I am downloading from Google, that is apps. So for Chrome, there is a lot of apps are there. Similarly, iOS also have lot of apps. Okay, so I'm installing some Facebook app to my mobile phone, Android mobile phone, but I don't know how it is safe, because the Facebook may read my contacts, Facebook may read my camera, location, mic, and Facebook may check my emails. Okay, so everything is possible. Okay, so that's why whenever you install any application, make sure you are not giving access to that application. Okay, any small application you try to install one Word document or applications also, or Microsoft PPT also, it will ask for the access, your camera access, your contact access, and your phone microphone access, and your location access. So these access unknowingly we are giving to most of the applications. Okay, so that may leads to the hackers can easily track or hack your data. Okay. And client computing device. Okay, so I invested 1 crore on my server or my company employees laptops and mobile devices. Okay, so because using of my Amazon cloud, my system should not get affected. That is very important thing. Okay, so there also we need CIA. Okay, so my system should run properly. Because of I installed one app from Amazon, totally my system got hanged. I cannot use further. Okay, so until I get refreshed, or until I reboot to the new operating system, the system is down. Okay, so there also that customer will lose the hope on the particular company or organization. Okay, so we should take care of computing device, your mobile phone, or because hackers can easily hack your device also. Okay. Once you install that app or something, you just click on the link of shared by some unauthorized user. In future, you cannot use your device. Okay, it is totally dead. It will be dead. Okay. So many cases are there like that. Okay, so client computing device, customer application, and customer data. So we have to identify the assets and principles and methods and terms and conditions and policies. So before installing or sharing your data into the cloud, okay. And before accessing the data from cloud also. Okay. So these are the 3 major concept behind the identify the assets and principle from customer perspective. Okay. So other threats can be maybe in the form of stride. Already we discussed about stride. So failures in provider security. Okay, so there may be a chance of suppose Windows is giving Microsoft Windows is giving some kind of cloud free cost of cloud you can use maybe, but there is no security. Okay, you can use the cloud for free of cost, but it is not secured. Okay, and attacked by other customer. Okay, we all are using the same physical system, physical infrastructure. So maybe your friends can hack your password and they can know what you are doing. Okay, that is customer. We all are customer, but some other customer can easily hack if they know your password or if they know method how to hack your system. And data availability and reliability issues. Okay, so we cannot make sure. Okay, another threat is the data is available for 24/7. Okay, sometimes the hacker will delete all your files, or they can copy the data what you kept in cloud, and they may know your bank online transaction password, take your money. They may take your money easily. Okay? And many people don't know what are the legal and regularity issues. Okay? Yes, of course, we don't know what is the legal issues if we use the particular software. Okay? That's why before installing any application into your system, please read the terms and conditions and legal issues of using that software. Some of the applications may not available in India, okay, because of legal and regulatory issues which is we are facing in India. Okay, and perimeter security model broken. Okay, so the security model may be broken. So this is one of the major threat, okay, to the cloud user. Okay, so security, if the security model is broken, so anybody can access from anywhere. Okay, and and integrating provider and customer security system. So customer security system maybe have some good features, but there also we have some loops and holes. Okay, so during integration. Okay, so that integration time, for example, the Amazon may have customer all over the world. Okay. They're trying to integrate Asia, South Asia, and South America. So there may be integrating. Okay, part the customer security system may get failure. Okay, so somebody from South America can hack your South Asia server, and he can know what are the things happening in India also. Okay, sitting somewhere in South America, he may know what is happening in India. Okay, so people are doing integration is done because of some business purpose. For example, I'm using Airtel SIM here. Okay, but if I go to Singapore, there also I can use my same SIM and same number, because Singtel is there. So Singtel and Airtel, they have tie-up. So that's why they can easily go for integrating the provider and customer security system. Okay. But we don't know what is the Singapore customer security system and what is the standards followed in Indian customer security system. Okay. So these are some of the 6 threats. Okay. So were being majorly faced in the cloud security system. Okay. Failure of provider security and attacks by other customers, the availability and reliability issues, legal and regularity issues, and perimeter security model broken, and integrating provider and customer security system. Okay. So these are the major threats to the people, those who are using cloud. Okay. So what are the concepts behind failures in provider security? So suppose I am the cloud provider, maybe I may be salesforce.org. Okay, so what are the failures as a provider I am facing? Okay, so explanation on countermeasures and notes. Okay, so provider control server network, etc. Yes, I can have the control over. Suppose I have 1,000 users, 1,000 customers. Assume that Airtel, I am the Airtel service provider, ISP, internet service provider. So I will give the control to the server and network, etc. Okay, customer must trust the provider security. Okay. Of course, I have millions of customers in India as a Airtel service provider, but because they have trust. Okay, their data is protected, and customer is happy to access the internet connection. There is no failure. Okay, so that's why then only hope will come from the customer side. Failures may violate CIA principles. Okay, that is a lot of principles which is followed in a different location. So CA is the one of the principle which is adopted in United States. Okay, the cyber internet access principle. Okay, and sometime okay, in India also we have the TROI principle. Okay, all the Airtel, Jio, everybody, BSNL also have to follow the TROI principle. If whatever TROI is telling, they have to follow, or else they have to pay fine to the TROI. Okay, so what are the government regulation I have to follow? I am the Airtel internet service provider, but I cannot violate the rules. Okay, and what are the countermeasures I can take? Verify and monitor provider security. Okay, so as an Airtel provider, I should have a strong firewall and security system. So then only I can manage all my networks properly. Okay, notes outside verification may suffice, and for SMB, okay, small medium base, so that is service station provider security may exceed customer security. Okay, so these are the information should be verified. Okay, each and every customer, those who are having connection, maybe Airtel connection, I should verify their other proof, or maybe other. Now in India we are using other verification. They have to submit their photo, they have to give their other copy, Xerox copy, or they will be verified. So verification, once the verification calls come, the customer have to lift the phone and they have to tell the current address and maybe OTP also. Sometimes customer may use, provider may go for OTP verification. Okay, so these are the method normally followed in India. So as a provider, they should take care of verification also, customer verification. Okay, whether the customer data is correct or not. Okay, then only your SIM will be activated, or else they may stop. So these are the concerns we have watched in the video, cyber security video, how cloud also need a very good cyber security to protect your data. Okay, how much your data is secure and how much the data code have the security. So it's talking about that cryptography, how people can able to watch what is happening in your system, what is happening in your mobile. And now people are able to hack your TVs also, televisions also. If it is under Wi-Fi, so anybody can access your smart TV, smartphone, any smart home devices, anything you are using with the help of internet. So these are the some of the concepts we have discussed in the last week. Okay. So we'll go for attacks by the other customers. Okay, we have discussed attacks from the some of the service provider. Okay, and how can the customers can attack the other customers. Okay. So provider resource shared with untrusted parties. When you share the resources, okay, suppose now this class is happening. If you share that is this class ID and password to somebody, okay, then there may be a chance of unauthorized person can come to your class and they can observe what is happening. Okay. So that is what the major problem. Okay. When we can easily understand. So how to manage this class and how to make sure our things are safe. Okay. So there is another issue. That's a threat by the customers. The customer can share your information to the another customer. Okay. Maybe you have Wi-Fi password access for some location. So if I can give the username password to somebody XY, he can also access the same Wi-Fi. Okay. That is coming under CPU storage and network also. Okay. So the customer can give the access of CPU storage and network, which is used by the multiple users. And customer data and application must be separated. Okay, so that's why the solution we should not attack by the other customers, those who are using the same Wi-Fi or same class, which is happening through Zoom. Okay, each and every customer data should be separated by keeping their name or their ID or their registration number. Okay. So that is easy to identify who is accessing, who is doing this kind of attacks, okay, that they are able to understand by the service provider. And failures will violate CAA principle. Okay. So failures always there will be a principle for every country. So in ASEAN, we told Troy. So Troy is one of the major company, which is a government-based company, which is monitoring all the activities in the internet. Okay. So apart from that, hypervisor for computers separation and MPLs, okay, and VPNs, VLANs, wireless for network separation. Okay. So each and every computers can be separated by the hypervisor, virtual machines. And for each and every network, they can be separated by the firewalls like virtual LANs, virtual private network, that's multiple private LANs, okay, or metropolitan LANs. This can be easily used for protect your network through firewalls with the help of firewalls. Okay. And people follow this technology, this cryptography. It's one of the widely used technology where everybody can easily protect their computer or their network easily, okay, because the data protection is very strong when you use cryptography. Okay. Application layer separation, okay, this may be less strong, but you can still separate the application layer separately to monitor how these applications are running in the host or maybe in other customer systems also. So apart from that, some of the major legal regulatory issues. Okay. So when you start know about internet service provider and consumer, okay, as a consumer and provider in cloud environment, so consumer and provider must follow the legal issues which is happening on the region to region. Okay. In US and UK, they may have separate legal issues. In India, we have different legal issues. Okay. So to operate the Geo or Airtel, they should follow the Indian government policies and regulations. Okay. Like that, if you want to start one company in UK or US, you have to follow the regulatory issues in that country. So because region to region, it may differ. So that's why we used to say laws, okay, laws and regulation and protocols. Okay. Maybe prevent the cloud computing. Okay. It's one of the major threat and requirement to retain the control. So the government may ask you to give the full control access of your server or your company data, something like that. Okay. So because while before signing, so as a consumer, you cannot read all the legal rights and legal issues. Okay. When you create Gmail account, you have to go through what are the terms and conditions before accepting. Okay. So they may ask you to accept, read your contacts and give your passwords, and they can access your data easily. Okay. So that's why there may be a threat when you follow terms and conditions of the particular company as a consumer, as a provider. Okay. How to protect your data? Okay, that control, if goes to the particular government, they will know what is happening in your company. Okay. So these are some of the major threat for each and every MNC. They have to follow the terms and conditions of the government, local body or local government. And certification record maybe not met by the provider. Okay. So when you go for get certificate, if you start a internet service providing company in India, okay, so you have to get the certificate. Okay. So these certificate requirements, sometimes it will not meet the what is the provider conditions. Okay. So that is one of the major threats. Okay. And limitation. Okay. So in a particular area, you cannot keep your company antenna. Okay. Or company service or company that is reachable network access to the end user. Okay. There is a limitation system. Okay. Maybe something like schools or college or a location near to temples. Okay. So those are some of the limitations for the data privacy. We cannot keep our antennas over there. Okay. And a new location may trigger new laws and regulations. Okay. If you want to keep your company antenna in different location, there may be a chance of different rules and regulations. Okay. Suppose if you can't run the company in India, if you want to start in Pakistan, then there may be a new law and regulation. Okay, because India will not allow some serious problem. So that's why companies are easily they can set up in Pakistan or some other Sri Lanka, some other location. Okay. Because our Indian regulation is different from the Sri Lanka and the Pakistan and China. So these are some of the legal and regulatory issues when you start set up the cloud and based environment for the end user. So we have to consider these issues. And what are the measures we can take? Okay, you must evaluate your legal issues. Okay, so before start set up your factory or your company in India, just you have to evaluate. If the terms and conditions are more rigid, then you can go for the Sri Lanka or China or some other location based start your services. Okay. And require provider compliance with laws and regulation. Okay. The provider also have the same similar problem as a consumer and provider. So there may be complaints with the local body or local government laws and regulations, and restrict geography as needed. Okay. So you can protect your company data as much maximum if you know your limitation, if you know your boundary. So you can restrict your geography based upon the need. Okay. So these are some of the legal and regulatory issues you may face if you start set up your company as a provider or maybe a consumer. Okay. As a consumer, I have to follow some strict rules and regulation before access Airtel or maybe Geo, Wi-Fi or connection, something like that. There are some terms and conditions. Those terms and conditions we must follow. There is no way. So that maybe help us to protect your data. Or sometimes the threats is that okay, if you start use your data via Amazon Web Service cloud, so Amazon may know what is you are doing in your system and what are the data you are keeping in their server. Okay, it is something like that. You are allowing somebody that, to your home and to rent your one room or something like that. Okay, if the person coming to the house, he may know what is happening in your house, when you are coming, when you are going. Okay, similarly, if you want to keep your data in some other location or some other person server, okay, so that there may be threats, lot of threats. Okay, so please go through the terms and conditions before allow that person to rent your house. So we go for rental agreement. Okay. Similarly, what is a rental agreement is used for to protect your house from the rent that is person can access in different way. Okay. So that's why we also always follow the legal terms and condition and regularity issues. Okay. These are some of the issues. There may be a lot of issues over cloud security when the person lost the data, how to recover the data. Okay. That is different issue. And when you go for the next concept, that is perimeter security model broken. Okay. So it is another one of the cloud security model, so which will allow the user to understand, okay, what is happening in the real world. Okay. So this is a perimeter security model. So what is perimeter? So perimeter is a geographical location or it's a based service provider to the end user based upon the security. Okay. How can I say it is a safe zone? Okay. So this is a when you go for internet, that is not safe. Okay. So this is my enterprise or it is my company. Okay. So how can I say it is safe? Okay. So because we have our own enterprise LAN with our own router, okay, and a firewall. Okay. So now it is protected. Okay. When you go for internet, there is no firewall. There is a number of million users. Okay. They don't have the access. You can see the remote user. They don't have any proper enterprise LAN. Okay. The enterprise LAN which have firewall as well very good security software. So it will protect the other customer to access your data and applications in the data center. Okay. Because it is your enterprise, you have your own data center. Okay. When it is goes to internet, somebody can access easily. Okay. Remote user, if you try to access your server, okay, so there is a LAN, okay, enterprise LAN. So beyond this, he cannot access your data. Okay. Because here itself we have firewall and updated version of your security software. Okay. So that will protect unauthorized user from the accessing your data. Okay. This is called as perimeter security model. Okay. So protecting your enterprise lands. That is, we used to say it's a safe zone. Okay. This is not safe. Internet is not safe, and enterprise LAN is safe. Okay. So that's why we used to say it is a safe zone. So when you take to cloud, okay, it is normal enterprise internet connection with your local server. Okay, in my house I have my own server. Outside people cannot access. Okay, but when you go for the with cloud computing, okay, with cloud computing, how this perimeter security have the access? Okay, you can see. So now cloud provider maybe assume that it is a separate part. Okay, which is connected to the your internet. Okay, maybe your internet connection will be based upon your internet service provider, maybe Apple or maybe a Geo or maybe BSNL. Okay, but all we are accessing the same internet connection, okay, the same data via the platform which is coming under the cloud provider. Okay, cloud provider maybe you consider is a Google or maybe Amazon or maybe a Microsoft, okay, or Force.org. These people give the cloud. Okay. So now this is my enterprise one, and this is another enterprise two. Okay. So how I can increase the perimeter security? with cloud. In the first scenario, it is my own company, own data. It is something like my own house. Nobody will come and access my data. It is protected, totally protected. Yeah. Okay. And here now it is not protected because I am going with cloud. I don't have my own server. I don't have. You can see Enterprise 1 and Enterprise 2. So they don't have their own database server. Here we have database server, application server. Okay. Now it is three-tier architecture. Okay. So now we have the client server, and the cloud is going to provide the application server and database server. Maybe in different location, different region and different location. Okay. Now I am going to increase the perimeter security. How? Okay. Because this is my enterprise 1, maybe automobile industry, and enterprise 2, maybe medical industry. Okay. So now I can protect my the data only with the help of LAN, that is with the help of router and firewall switches I am using. Okay. Same in enterprise 2 also. We have the same thing. Okay. So this is the only solution. We can protect our data. Okay. You must have strong firewall and security, that is software tools you are using in the enterprise 1 and 2. So based upon your data will be protected. Okay. So anyway, we all are accessing the data via internet. Okay. But these people, somebody hackers maybe in this location, maybe this router or somewhere. For him, it is difficult to trace you. If you have strong cyber security or cryptography based programs, so these people, those who are using the internet, hackers, cannot access the information easily. Maybe any remote user trying to access your enterprise 1 or 2, it will be difficult if we have strong cryptography algorithms. Okay. If we don't have, then there may be a chance for data leakage or data loss for the company. So how this security model can be broken? Okay. If the perimeter security model, okay, can be broken by the remote user or end user or any customer or any service provider. So what are the threats? So we are in safe zone, but it is not cloud. But when you come to cloud, the data is not safe. How to keep my data safe? That's why I am going for this perimeter security. And what are the problem with the perimeter security? When we access the server from a different location, so what are the major threats for me or for my company? Okay, so including the cloud in your perimeter. Okay, that is perimeter is my local company. If I am going to connect my perimeter system or security with the cloud, it is one of the threat for me. Okay, let's attacker inside the perimeter. Okay, that means you are now you are having your own house and you are going for this perimeter security with the cloud. Then you yourself you are allowing thief into your house. Okay, that is the ultimate concept behind the perimeter security model. Okay, there may be threat. If I allow somebody, I don't know, into my house, so he may take or he may easily access the data which is available in my program or in my computer. Okay, some person know my username password, that person may easily access the data. Okay. So another threat is prevents mobile user from accessing the cloud directly. Okay. So when you go for that accessing your through mobile, so there may be a chance anybody intruders or maybe any hackers can prevent the mobile user from accessing the cloud directly easily. Okay. That is another threat. Okay, if you have the perimeter with cloud. And this perimeter security not including the cloud in your perimeter. Okay, when you go for this perimeter security model with cloud, that means the security model will not be applicable. Why? Because we are using somebody data center. Okay, I'm not using my data center. I'm going to use somebody Amazon or Google or Microsoft server. That means they know everything. Okay, that is another threat. And essential service are not trusted. Okay. So whatever service they are providing, so this cloud service provider is giving, so we cannot trust. We cannot trust Airtel, we cannot trust Jio or BSNL until we have direct connection from some service provider. Because these are private companies, they may know. Even Facebook also, Facebook, Twitter, and WhatsApp. Everybody knows what you are doing, what is in your mobile phone, where is your location. So everything they can easily access. So we cannot trust these people. So companies like Facebook or somebody Gmail or any kind of account you are creating in cloud, we cannot trust. Okay. No access controls on cloud. A very important and serious issue in the perimeter security in cloud model. Okay. There is no access control. Okay. So because your enterprise, I already told this is an automobile industry and one is a medicine industry. So you don't have any access. Simply you are accessing the cloud with the help of internet. So the remote user, the intruder can access your server also via the cloud provider. So there is no control. There is no, you don't have any direct control when you use somebody's cloud. And what is the solution? Only thing, you have to drop this perimeter model. The perimeter model is only for your own company. Okay, you cannot go with perimeter security with cloud. Okay. So perimeter security is safe when it is in under your control. Okay, when the server is with you, when the data is with you, that means the data center is within your location or your uh, source. Then only it will be in your control. Okay, the source is from some other person, something like cloud. And you are the destination, you will be targeted. Okay. So that's why drop the perimeter model. Okay. This is all about your perimeter security model idea and model broken, how it is. When we go for the another concept that is called the integrating provider and customer security. Okay. So we'll discuss tomorrow. So what is it? So when you go for cloud, it is not safe. So those concepts we have discussed. When you keep on taking your data from some other location or some other person server, that is always not safe. Okay. So that's why the perimeter is not preferred for a cloud-based data structure. Okay. So we need a new technique or new feature to be added in the cloud security, but not perimeter model. That's why we have to drop the perimeter model. Okay. That are the issues. So today we are going to start and discuss about the integrating provider and customer security. Okay. So I have some security software in my laptop, and the service provider like Airtel or Jio, so they may have also some future, some of the techniques or method maybe used for their own purpose. How to integrate? Okay, that is as a consumer, I am the consumer. As a provider, they may have some security solution. Okay. How to integrate and how to increase security in the field of cloud computing. So that's why we need a proper solution before access some other server. We should have some strong firewall and a strong security software tool in our system. Then you no need to worry, and people never mind about that. Okay. So what are the threats when we are collaborating? I am collaborating with Microsoft, or maybe I am collaborating with Amazon. Okay. So they may have some security features. I am also having some security features. How to integrate? Okay. So what are the threats? Okay. So disconnected provider and consumer security system, and fired employee retains access to cloud. Okay. Misbehavior in cloud not reported to the customer. Okay. These are the some of the major threat if you integrate. Okay. Because there may be a chance of, okay, if you integrate, okay, there may be a chance of somebody can misuse or access which is not an employee, or that employee was resigned and he went to some other place. He may also know your data. Okay. And some misbehavior which is happening in the cloud security that may not be informed to the customer. Okay, they will keep them secretly. Okay. For example, Facebook access your data, customer data. Facebook don't reveal, okay, because that is a kind of spoiling their reputation. Okay. So this kind of company employee, somebody can crash this or delete the data. That will spoil the reputation of that particular company. So that's why they never report to the customer. I may think my data is safer and it is more reliable for me. But already the data may be breached because of some employee who is already retaining the access of that cloud. My company details he may know. Maybe he was a unauthorized user and he may get the chance to learn about what is happening in my company. Okay, so these are some of the threat when we integrate our security software with service provider. Okay, the best solution is better not integrate. Okay, we should have separate uh, security software solution, and the service provider also maintain their own security solutions. Okay, so what are the countermeasures you have to take before go for integration? Okay. At least integrate identity management. Okay, that is very good solution. Okay. Who is coming, who is accessing, who is in charge, who is the authorized user. Okay. So we must have identity. How we are having identity, roll number, underscore name. So like that, so every person must have identity, maybe ID or name or photo or something like that. Okay. And consistent access control. Okay. So based upon the user, the privileges should be there. Okay. Because the boss of the company have full access. The next manager have some limited access. And as a end user, they may have very limited access. Okay. So giving the access to the end user, that will be leads to the very good customer security. Okay. That's why we should be very careful in dealing with the customers as well provider. Okay, we should not give full access to your computer. Okay, suppose if I give access to my computer, there may be a chance of crash, or that person may totally delete or copy my data from the system. Okay, so giving access to the unauthorized person, we should be very careful on that part. And better integrate monitoring and notification. Okay, continuous monitoring and alert. Okay, so whenever the person trying to log in into my, I will get OTP or message as somebody is accessing your server or somebody is accessing your email. So like that, you can go for some security feature. It is something like keeping security in your house. Okay, and the security will inform to that owner somebody is trying to come into the house to like that. Okay. So if we have better integrate monitoring and notification system, then it will be useful for communication between customer and the service provider. Okay. And some of the protocols we can use like SAML, LDAP, and Radius, XCaml, and IFMAP. So these are some of the security softwares which is available for the purpose of integrating provider and the customer security. If you want to increase security features when you use the cloud, you can prefer some good software tools. A lot of tools are available in Google. You can find it and you can, which is good for your system. You can go with that. Okay? So this is some of the threats and countermeasures for integrating provider and consumers. There is customer security. And another concept is what, when, how to move to the cloud. Okay? So how we are going to keep the data safe in different locations, and when and what are the data we have to move to the cloud. Okay, I have my server in my own company, which is head office is in Bangalore. So I don't move all the data into the cloud. Okay, so what data I have to move, when I should move, and how I should move to the cloud. It is one of the major tasks you have to do before move data into the cloud. Suppose you have a huge number of photos or videos, you should not move your personal photos or videos into the cloud, or your personal password files or personal details, anything personal. which is you feel confidential, you should not keep it in the cloud. Okay. So what, when, how to move to the cloud. Okay. So first thing, we have to identify the assets for cloud deployment. Okay. What kind of data you can keep it in the cloud, and what kind of applications, functions, and process you can keep it in the cloud. Okay. So this should be identified from the company side, or as a user, you are the end user or a consumer. Okay. You must aware of your data. Okay. You may have context detail, you may have your videos, you may have your pictures. Okay. So everything you should not move to the cloud environment. Okay. And more sensitive data, okay, should not keep it on the cloud. Similarly, applications also. Okay. Your company-based applications, application server data, and your database server data. So whole backup, you should not keep it on the cloud. So some features or some security features should be added before you are moving your data into the cloud. So every time you have to evaluate the asset. Okay, when you start, the company is having 1 terabyte or 10 terabyte data. We should assess around 3 to 4 terabyte. You can use it in the cloud, and remaining should be kept in the company database server. Okay. So determine how important the data or function is to the organization. Okay. So what kind of data or function, how it is important to keep in cloud or to not keep it in the cloud. You have to evaluate. Okay. So whatever I am sharing through this Zoom, so how it is more sensitive or very important for me, or it is public, anybody can access, it's a public free access. Okay. I have to evaluate before I disclose in the Zoom meeting. So each and every assets you are having, you should evaluate before you are going to disclose in the cloud environment. Okay. So identify the asset and evaluate the asset. So this is what you have to do before you are going to move your data into the cloud. So what, when, and how to move the cloud. Okay. So identify the assets and evaluate the assets. After this, you are comfortable, you are happy, then you can move the data into the cloud. Okay. And it should have continuous monitoring also, monitoring and alerts. Okay, because it's cloud, it's not more safe. So you should be having continuous monitoring on that. Okay. So how to evaluate the asset? Okay, that is the next topic. So the assets may be in different form. You may have data, or you may have videos, or you may have images or pictures or something like that. So how you can evaluate, okay, and how it is would be a harmed if. Okay, so the asset become widely public and widely distributed. Okay, already I told, if you keep your images or pictures or video into Facebook or Twitter or WhatsApp, okay, so it will be widely public and widely distributed. You cannot imagine who is having your photo, who is having your video, who is having your password details. Okay, it will be widely distributed because of technology. It is technology. You cannot predict how much fast it will be circulated among the people who is accessing the internet. Okay. An employee of our cloud provider access the asset definitely. Okay. So any employee who is working on Facebook or Twitter or Amazon or anybody from who is using the cloud, employee can access your assets. Okay, and the process of function were manipulated by an outsider. Okay, definitely, if you have the data in cloud, so anybody can come and delete some data, add unnecessary data, and he can interrupt in between data accessing from one location to another location. Anything he can manipulate. Okay, there is a lot of scope for that. The person can who is accessing your data, he can manipulate your data also. And the process or function failed to provide expected result. Okay, if you keep the data in cloud, somebody manipulated, then it is loss for the company. Okay, so what's your result? Me, you are expecting out of 100, you are expecting 90. You will get only 20 or 30. Okay, because a function or a process get failed in cloud, then your task will not be completed. Okay, suppose there's some XY server is down, so you cannot access your company data. Okay, because you are dependent on Amazon. Amazon server is down for 2 hours. Then it is huge loss. You cannot get the expected result. So this is what the one of the major costs of the evaluate your asset. And the information and data was unexpectedly changed. Okay, you may have 1,000 names in your database server about your employees. Okay, suddenly you may have more than 1,500 or maybe less than 1,000. There may be a chance. Okay. So because of that is tampered data or because of unauthorized user or data mismatch, okay, anything will happen in the online system. Okay, we cannot predict. Okay. So that's why we should be very careful on dealing with your data. We should have strong that is cyber security features. That's cryptography. We have strong cryptography, so the changes can be avoided. The assets were unavailable for a period of time. Okay, already I told. So if you have account with your bank, the server will go for every month or every 3 months once. The server will go for upgradation. When they upgrade the server, you cannot access the server. Okay, you will get only message temporarily not available. Okay, the server is under maintenance. Okay, then you cannot take your money. Okay, so you cannot use your any data from the bank. That's why these are the around 6 causes or how would be harmed if this thing happen. Okay, it is big loss for the consumer, that is customer. Okay, if the customer cannot access the data for the period of time, then it is waste of going for online banking. Everything you can do it manually. If you are going in online, the data should be more safe and it should be more protected. Okay, and it should be accessed by the particular consumer. So these are the some of the features of evaluating the assets before you are going to keep it in the cloud. Okay. And another concept is map assets to the model. Okay. So we have already discussed in unit 1, there are 4 cloud models: public, private, community, and hybrid cloud. Okay. Which cloud model address your security concern? Okay. So most probably you can prefer private, internal or external, private cloud. Most companies are going for this second model. Okay. The public, which is used by these government sectors. Okay. And community is based upon the particular group, computer science, probably EC. And hybrid may be the combination of anything, public and private and community, and public, private, community. The combination of anything, public, private, and community. So based upon your company assets and based upon your company futures or your end user reliability of data, you can go for any among these 4 cloud models. You can go for any model, okay, which is suitable for you. You can select anything. Okay. So this is the ultimate concept behind the cloud security. Okay. Because security is always concerned in cloud. So we should prefer a proper model before accessing the data. Okay, so that's why people should be more cautious. You or me or any consumer who is accessing the data via cloud, we should be very more concerned. Security is because security is major concern. Okay, when you use your mobile camera, when you use your mobile mic, or when you use your mobile Facebook or Twitter. Okay, so you should be more cautious about the accessing of data by using the cloud. If we have good cloud security feature, then no problem. But if you don't have proper feature, then there will be a chance of go for any one cloud model, it's private or public or community, and go for good firewall options. Okay. Then there may be a chance of having you are protected, you are safe. Okay. If you don't misuse your cloud data, or if you know about your data, okay, properly into the cloud, what you kept, what are the assets you have kept. So that may be good for you. Okay. So these are the major concept behind um, how we can keep your assets properly into the cloud. Be careful when you map the assets into the model. Suppose you have huge number of banking transaction or airline reservation system. Okay, when you are going to map this airline reservation system application to the cloud, you should be have good security feature. Okay. So that's why we should protect your data safely. Okay. Mm. We go for the next concept. So map data flow. We are not mapping only assets. Okay. Data flow also. Source to destination. How it will travel. Okay. So which is the source, which is destination. Okay. Suppose I'm going to conduct this Zoom meeting. So I will give my PM ID and my password for only my students. Okay. I don't share with other people. Okay. This is a flow. So faculty, HOD, principal, or principal, HOD, faculty to students. Okay. You will get the timetable and you will attend the different classes by using the different IDs and password. Okay. So similarly, in cloud also we have a map data flow. How should the flow should go? Okay. So that is one of the major concerns. How to maintain the flow based upon the providers and consumer. Okay. So map the data flow between your organization, cloud service, customers, and other nodes. This is a strategy. Okay. So I have my company HP or IBM. Okay. I will look for some cloud service provider, maybe assume that Amazon, and I will get the customers through cloud, Amazon cloud. Okay, and other nodes. Okay, so essentials to understand whether and how data can move in and out of the cloud, and sketch it for each of the models and know your risk tolerance. Okay. As a MNC company, I should know how much risk it is to maintain the customer data. Maybe if I am an Indian bank, so that is very sensitive maintain my customer data because we are playing with money. So the customer should not lose their money. That's why we have two-step verification and more firewall and cryptography based algorithms which is running in the server. Okay. So these are the essential steps to understand how data can move from in and out. Okay. We should have strong security keys or password. You should maintain strong password. Okay. And encryption, decryption algorithms. Okay. If you have, then it is easy to monitor the data flow in and out from the server, okay, to the end user and end user to the server. Okay. So the data flow always from organization, cloud, and consumer. That is a customer. Okay. And what are the domains we can address this common cloud security problem? How many domains are there? So which domains we can say? 13 domains, the service contracts should address these 13 domains. Okay. So one by one we'll discuss. Architectural framework, governance, enterprise, risk management, legal e-discovery, compliance and audit, information life cycle management, portability and interoperability, security business continuity, disaster recovery, data center operation, incident response issues, application security, encryption and key management, identity and access management, virtualization. Okay, so these are the 13 domains where cloud play the vital role. Okay. So because these services are mandatory around the world. Okay, to share the information among the customers and consumers. Okay. So our cloud providers and consumer, they should have the knowledge of these domains. Okay, so how to maintain the legal issues and auditing, and how to make safety is perfect. Okay, security, encryption and key management, identity and access management, So these are the major domains where the cloud provider will make the contract. Suppose I have my company called as we can say visual, so visual company or something. So I will depend on some cloud service provider. Okay, I want to get 3-4 hour virtual server. I should make a contract with the Amazon. Okay, based upon the contract, then I will go for virtualization of my company business. So anything you can pick from here, and you can go for the service contract with the cloud service provider. These are the ultimate domains across the globe. We are using these 13 domains for you can make contract. And governance, e-governance. So most companies preferring this, including government also. They are going for e-governance. Okay, so everything. So you can 24/7 you can monitor and you can audit and you can alert. Okay, the people need. Okay, so now in Corona, take this concept of Corona. So now government is more serious about the things, and they are managing everything from internet. Okay, so e-governance. Okay, so identify, implement process controls to maintain effective governance, risk management, and compliance. And provide a security government should be accessed for sufficient maturity, consistency with the user IT sector process. Okay, information technology sector process. So this will completely monitoring. So what is happening, what is coming in and going out in a government sector, how to identify the problem and how to find the solution for the problem and implementing the process. Stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, stage 4. Stage 1, it's easy to identify who is having coronavirus. Stage 2, maybe we can protect on some level. Stage 3 also we can protect. And stage 4, if it is it is difficult to control that virus. Okay? So that's why the government is more serious about this virus and how to protect the people from spreading the virus. Self-isolation. Okay, so that is the provider security governance. Okay, so sufficient food will be available, sufficient manpower should be there, and consistency in using the IT sector process. So these are involved. Okay, and more thing is risk management. Okay, the government is taking huge risk. Okay, now the lockdown period is extended up to May 3rd. Okay, so what kind of problems we are going to face in education field or MNC company or IT sector. So what kind of issues we are going to face? Okay, that is one of the major. Already there is around 1 month lockdown is there. Now we are going to continue the lockdown up to May 3rd. Our Prime Minister is now going to declare that up to May 3rd is our lockdown period is extended. And how to governance these things. Okay, that is government have proper policy after identifying the issues in the current scenario. They are going to implement one process to protect our people, but we should also cooperate. Okay, because security is one of the major concern in cloud, not only cloud, in our country also. Okay. So we'll stop here. Tomorrow we'll discuss about legal issues. Okay, what are the legal issues? So cloud domains. So that's what we discussed up to last class. But, some of the 13 domains of that start from architectural framework to visualization. So these are some of the major concepts behind how we can manage the cloud domains. The major concept and how the data is shared among the different people doing the different business. So that is the ultimate concept behind these domains, which will support the end user. And we have discussed about the governance in the last class, how it is being maintained properly. Okay, so based upon the risk management, compliance, and sufficiency of data, consistency of data. Some of the things we have discussed in the last class. So today we go for legal. So legal issues when you use the cloud-based data encryption technique or data processing or method. there are three ways of we can take legal action if there is a problem with your data. Okay? So functional and judicial and contractual. Okay. So functional, everybody know that. So when a consumer and provider have to accept the terms and conditions for the operation of any kind of cloud-based accounts, your Gmail account, your Facebook account, Twitter accounts. So everything is maintained in cloud. Okay. So what is the uh, functional or operations or methods adapted to have legal implication for both parties? That parties means provider and consumer. So these two people have the major impact on how to manage the data or information. So based upon the agreement they have signed. Okay, that's why so functional play the vital role in a legal forum. So if the company or the consumer put case against Geo or Airtel, so based upon the legal ground on functional. Okay, so operations which is used to adapt the data and methods. So that is coming under functional based on both parties. Both parties should accept and they go for agreement. Okay. And another thing is jurisdictional. So it is based upon the government area. It depends upon the area. So maybe it's a Mumbai jurisdictional or Chennai jurisdictional or Tirupati region jurisdictional. So region to region, area to area, it differs. Okay, and country to country also. So you according to the US UK jurisdictional, it have some policies and terms and conditions. So according to Indian jurisdictional, it have some policies, terms and conditions. Why we need? Because we need government approval. Jio or Airtel or BSNL, so anybody want to operate their own cloud data security forum, then they need to get the approval from the government based upon the laws. That is called as government administered law and regis impacting services, stakeholders, and data assets. So the government will give the clarity about how to maintain the surveys and how to keep the stakeholders and how to maintain the data assets. So these are coming under. So services, stakeholder, and data assets are coming under the jurisdictional. So that is government policies and terms and condition we must follow. And contractual. So that is coming under terms and condition. Okay, how many years you are going to do contract? Maybe 6 months or 3 months or 1 year or 5 year or 10 years. So how much money how to pay during the contract period and how to break the contract. So all these terms and conditions are coming under contractual. Okay, every 1 month you have to go for renewal or 3 months or you have to go renewal for every year. So those things will be discussed in the contractual legal. So these are the three major concepts behind the cloud security, how to maintain the data between the parties, that is the provider and consumer, functional, and government give the direction to operate the company, both the consumer and provider. So that is coming under jurisdictional, so region or area. And contractual, it's based upon the terms and conditions. You have to approve the terms and conditions. If you want to rent a house, there are contracts agreement is there. So that agreement you have to sign. So that will have terms and condition to use the rented house. Okay. Rented offices also, rented building also. Everything if you want to rent, you have to make the contract. Okay. That is coming under contractual. So we'll go for that legal. What are the major concepts behind the legal direction with the direction of cloud computing security? Both parties must understand each other's roles. Okay, so either provider or a consumer. So what is the role of the provider? He should supply the internet connection to the end user, and consumer must pay the money to use the internet. So these are the some of example for roles of the parties. Okay. And provider must save the primary and secondary logs. Definitely, If I am the provider, so maybe Airtel or Jio, I must maintain the call logs, which person, which customer called, which number, okay, how much time he spoke, so how much is the price he spent, how much internet he used. So everything will be maintained by the provider. That is coming under log. So it's something like a maintaining logbook. So logbook for each and every customer. Okay. And where is the data stored? Laws for cross-border data flows. Okay, so there are laws. If you store the data, you have company in India, but you want to store the data in US or UK, so we have to follow the laws, terms and conditions of the both countries. Okay, what kind of data you can store, if you have server out of the country. Okay, you are taking the data from India and you are sending to some other country, then you have to follow the laws. Okay, that is cross-border data flows. Okay, if you crossing the border or limits of the particular country, you have to give explanation. Okay, so the some of consequences are there. How to manage these consequences based upon the input given by the government. Okay, because there are a lot of consequences which is maybe uh, understand by the government and the end user, that will be easy for data transaction. Okay. And plans for unexpected contract termination and orderly return or secure disposal of assets. Okay. Anything happen, so the customer want to go abroad, he want to terminate the contract to near contractor, how much money he may get, 50% of that uh, total amount to be paid, or he may not get. Okay? And he has to return that assets which is given by the provider, maybe Wi-Fi router, or maybe a server, or maybe a computer, or maybe a handheld device. Okay? So everything should be disposed properly, okay, based upon the contract termination. Okay, during the contract period, if you want to terminate the contract, you have to follow the terms and conditions of the particular legal issues, maybe functional, or maybe jurisdictional, or maybe a uh, kind of terms and condition contractual. You have to follow, or else it will be, you have to face the consequences. Okay, these consequences are most probably based upon the legal. Okay, they will take legal action against to the customer or maybe provider. Okay, the provider also, if he do mistake, so he has to face the consequences. These consequences are based upon the legal rights. Okay. You should ensure you retain ownership of your data in its original form. Okay. If you want to claim the ownership of your data, whatever your project doing, your coding, or whatever pictures or images or videos you have created, so that will coming under copyrights. Copyrights play the major role for ownership of your data. So anything you are going to create and maintain in the server, before that, better to have copyright. Okay. So then you can share it in the social media or in cloud-based environment. Okay. Or else there are a lot of consequences which is caused by the legal issues or authority. So government may ask you question, why you are broadcasting this video or that video or images without the permissions, without the permission of the particular person who is using the content. So that's why you should ensure you and retain the ownership. Definitely you should retain the ownership of your data, okay, in its original form without any modification. Okay. So before that, show on video how this kind of security, data security, will have impact on auditing and compliance. Okay. We'll see one video on that.
This is Todd. Todd manages IT for a global healthcare organization where he's responsible for securing sensitive corporate and customer data. Until now, that data was located inside a secure perimeter. The bad guys were outside of the firewall, and Todd's team was in control. The cloud has changed that. These days, Todd is faced with more security threats, more compliance mandates, and more data to protect. And now his company has moved to the cloud to take advantage of its scalability and efficiency. But the old school technology Todd's team once relied on to secure the perimeter just won't work in the cloud. He needs a way to protect sensitive data that's stored in and moving to the cloud, centralize data security across multiple cloud providers, block cloud providers from seeing their data, ensure data can be safely removed from the cloud, and prevent government agencies from accessing data without permission. With Gemalto's portfolio of Safenet data protection solutions, it's easy to centrally secure sensitive data on premises and across all of today's leading cloud platforms, including Amazon, Microsoft, Google, and IBM. Todd can now manage the encryption of the company's data wherever it's located, even as it moves to and from the cloud. And because Todd, not the cloud service provider, controls the encryption and keys, he can prove he always owns his data. He also ensures maximum security and compliance with his keys stored separately from the protected data. With Gemalto, Todd is back in control. Now that you understand an old-school approach to data security just won't work in the cloud, isn't it time to get to know Gemalto? Visit our website to learn how to secure your organization's data in the cloud today.
So Gemalto, okay. So that is one of the very famous organization which is good in providing this cloud security solution for the most of the companies. Some companies like some other web services based company. So they are also depending on this Gemalto. So this is one of the very famous company. So they are giving cloud security so for the end user. So we'll see one more how this data security in any cloud-based environment, how they will maintain. So that also we will see how it is useful for you.
The cloud. It's changing the way you do business. It allows your organization to collaborate and share information, innovate and get products and services to market sooner, and easily access computing and business resources. But what about security? Before, you could just set up perimeter security and call it a day. But this old school technology just won't work in the cloud. What if there was a way to stay in control of your sensitive corporate and customer information to prevent the bad guys from accessing data and keep data safe as it is migrated, stored, or even deleted from the cloud, all while meeting compliance and regulatory requirements? With Gemalto's portfolio of Safenet identity and data protection solutions, you can keep your data secure in any cloud environment. How? By managing access with strong multi-factor authentication, securing sensitive data with enterprise-ready encryption, and owning and centrally managing your keys. With Safenet Identity Protection, you can apply strong multi-factor authentication to ensure only authorized users can access your cloud-based applications like Salesforce, Office 365, and Amazon Web Services. Then, Safenet Data Protection Solutions can encrypt your sensitive data so that it's secure whether it's stored in or moving to and from the cloud. And don't forget your encryption keys. With a proven enterprise key management solution, your organization maintains complete ownership and control of your keys and data in the cloud at all times. With Gemalto, you have a centralized way to secure user access to data in nearly every cloud environment, encrypt your data and comply with regulatory mandates, and protect and prove ownership of your keys. You're back in control. Now that you understand an old-school approach to data security just won't work in the cloud, isn't it time to get to know Gemalto? Visit our website now to learn how to secure your company's data in the cloud.
So Gemalto. So this is another idea behind how Gemalto, that company is providing security solution for authentication and encryption and decryption methods for the end user. Okay, I'm the end user, so I have my own forum, so I can get the there is data security or cloud security from Gemalto. So like Gemalto, a lot of organizations are there, so they are providing cloud security solutions, okay, for multi-factor authentication. So because the data is very important, and you should make sure whatever you are sharing in the internet, it should be more safe. Okay, that's why the company like Gemalto, so giving the solution for the end user customers. Okay. So how the customer will be protected. So when you use so the applications from the Gemalto. So how to maintain with your secondary and register requirements for order to demonstrate to auditors, and write to audit class and analyze compliance scope and regularity impact on data security, and evidence required or met, and to provide have SAS 70 Type 2 and ISO 27001 to audit statements. So some of the important factor you should know when you go for auditing. Okay, if you have big company, so the auditor can able to suggest you how to keep analyze, or what is the class which is for used for auditing, and what are the regularity impact on data security. Okay. So you need evidences to make sure the quality of the data security. Maybe if you are the owner of this Facebook or some IBM or Amazon, so they should have this compliance and audit report. So based upon the report, we can say this is a good quality oriented company which have all type of data security, okay, to maintain any requirements from the end users or consumers. Okay. So auditing is the only method which is used in most of the organizations to make sure so the quality of that data security is good or bad. And another concept behind this cloud security is portability and interoperability. Because we use this cloud, which is more portable and it is interoperable. When you have to switch cloud providers, I'm using Amazon. Now I want to switch to maybe Microsoft Azure or something like that. So there is a lot of scope on that. It is more portable because most probably all we are using the common physical infrastructure. Only the different we have different company names. So that is the major difference. And based upon price increase, okay, sometimes you have signed the contract for $1 or $10. So after a period of time, there will be a chance of increasing the price which is you are using. And you can provide the service on bankruptcy. Okay, so that is coming under the transaction. How much the provider transaction is based upon the service shutdown. Okay, when service is data shutdown, the consumer may get lost. Okay, suppose I'm using this Airtel internet now, so for my Zoom meeting, the service is shut down by the Airtel provider, internet service provider, then I could not conduct my online class. So that may be loss for the consumer. And decrease in service quality and business dispute. There will be if you try to change your geo to or Airtel to BSNL. So there may be a difference in the quality. Or if you use 4G, that is good. But when we are going back to this kind of some other company, so then it is difficult for you to analyze, okay, how we can maintain all the data and security system to manage the data and security system based upon the service quality. Okay. If our service quality is not good, then we can switch to some other company or some other service provider to prove your data security is good, okay, compared to the other data methods or data security one that is coming at portability and interoperability. All the clouds are portable, always, and it is more comfortable for the end user how to protect your data or information from the unauthorized user. Okay, if you have authorization, then it is good. Okay, so or else it is difficult to manage the data or information from the cloud. So you have to make sure before you want to change the service provider based upon the cost effective or based upon the service quality, that you have to choose. Consumer have to select. Okay, and security in business continuity and disaster recovery. Okay. So centralization of data. So that is one of the common idea. Okay. So you can Gemalto also giving solution for the centralization of data. So centrally you can monitor the data. Okay. So to avoid the threat, what is the major thing why we go for centralization of data? So maintain on common server that can easily can protect, okay, compared to maintaining your data in different place. You can maintain in one place. You can make sure it is data is more secure. Okay, that is a greater insider threat from within the provider. Okay, and there may be a threat if the server is down. Again, consumer may not get the services. That's why we are going for big data. You can keep multiple copies, replicas. Okay, and require on-site inspection of provider facility. Okay, so every time we have to do inspection. Okay, so what is the provider and what are the facilities of the provider is having, so based upon the disaster recovery and business continuity, etc. Some of the cases the provider cannot give the expected service, so because of the current scenario which is affects on the company, the country, the employees are expecting more from the company, the employees quit from the company, so the provider cannot give all the facilities. Sometimes he has to stop the service, okay, and we cannot get the service continuous. Okay. Some disaster recovery, something flood or earthquake is happening, then the continuously we cannot get any data from the service provider. Okay. So security is maintained in centralization of data, and we have to continue our business based upon the assets we are having, and we have to recover fast from the disaster also. Okay. Another concept in the cloud security is the incident response. Okay, so there are a lot of huge millions of apps are available in the cloud. So any app you want to install, it should respond to the customer. The same app will be installed by millions and trillions of the customer. So are not always designed with the data integrity and security in mind. Okay, most of the apps you are having which don't have any security feature. Okay, something like a Facebook or Twitter or something like there's a drawing apps or something like your maps, Google Maps. So these kind of apps may not have good data integrity and security. Okay, so provider keep app firewalls, IDs, logs. Okay, and whenever install the provider, maybe Facebook may keep your apps information, your contact information, your camera, and he may have the access to have your gallery, everything. Okay. And provider delivers snapshots of your virtual environment, and sensitive data must be encrypted from the data breach regarding. Okay. So these data breach may be occur based upon the incident response. Okay. So the incident response which we are doing for complete our work more fastly. But the drawback is there is, if you install any apps, so there is unauthorized apps may not have good security feature and may not have a good integrity. Tampering of data may be happen frequently. So based upon the data and cloud security you are having. Okay, if you have good cloud service, security applications, you don't need to mind. Okay, but if you don't have, then you are always in risk. Okay. And another part is, yes, you have hundreds of applications in your mobile phone, Android or iOS. How the applications are secured? That is one more question. So you'll see one video on that application security. So Blanta is giving one more solution for application security also. So in this video, you can easily understand how the features are included for cloud-based application security. Okay. Most applications you are using in your Android phone may not have good security feature, but what is the solution? Okay.
This is Jeremy. Jeremy works in the IT department for a growing financial services company where he manages access to the organization's business applications. Securing access to these applications used to be simple. Employees were only able to log in through the company's network, and Jeremy's team was in control. The cloud has changed that. Employees and partners now can log on to these resources from anywhere, at any time, and from any device, and are pushing even more data to the cloud. While great for productivity, managing access isn't easy, and security is a big concern. But the old school technology Jeremy's team once relied on to secure the perimeter just won't work in the cloud. They need a way to control access to cloud-based applications and meet compliance and regulatory mandates. Luckily for Jeremy, there's Gemalto. With Gemalto's portfolio of Safenet identity protection solutions, it's easy to apply strong and centralized authentication that secures access to all of the company's cloud-based applications. With Gemalto's multi-factor authentication solutions, users must provide something they know, like their ID and password, with something they have, like a one-time password delivered to their mobile device. This makes it easy for users to log on to all approved company resources with a single identity, all while preventing bad guys from accessing sensitive data. Administration and management is easier too. Because the solution runs in the cloud, Jeremy's team saves money and can get up and running in a matter of minutes. They also have a way to centrally define and enforce user access policies, all from one fully automated authentication platform. And as business needs grow, it's simple to scale security because the solution works out of the box with today's most popular cloud-based applications, like Amazon Web Services, Microsoft Office 365, Salesforce, and more. Jeremy's team also has visibility into who is accessing the company's cloud-based applications, making audits and compliance trouble-free. With Gemalto, Jeremy is back in control. Now that you understand an old-school approach to data security just won't work in the cloud, isn't it time to get to know Gemalto? Visit our website to learn how to control access to your organization's cloud-based applications today.
So this is one more solution from the Gemalto to make sure your applications are more secured. Okay? Because application security is one of the major concern in the cloud. Okay? If you want to make sure your application is more secured, then we have to use some of the apps like Gemalto or any apps like cloud-based security environment. So that will help the person to manage the data properly. Okay, or else it will be always chaos. You cannot predict who is accessing. Suppose you are using your Excel sheet, okay, from one location to another location. I am sharing that Excel sheet. If the Excel sheet is not secured, okay, I cannot use it in cloud, okay, because somebody unauthorized user can access the Excel sheet, and he may know the data of my company. So that's why we should be always careful while using any applications in the cloud. Okay, so because application play the major role. Okay, so application security is one of the major concern, okay, for managing all the activities in the cloud. Okay, different trust boundaries for IaaS, PaaS, and SaaS. Provider web application security is one of the concern, and secure inter-host communication channel. So authentication. So OTP in application security, OTP play the major role. Okay, any bank transaction or anything you want to share, or any email verification, or anybody logging verification, or identity verification, or multi-factor authentication. So everything need a application security. If you have application security, there OTP will be there. Once you verify your OTP or verify your email, so you are safe. Okay, your data will be safe. Okay. So that's why application security is one of the major concern in cloud-based environment. So make sure how the data is protected when you are in cloud. Okay. So we'll stop here. So this is all about today's session. So application security and incident response, and security, business continuity and disaster recovery, portability, interoperability, and compliance and audit report, and legal. Okay, so function, jurisdictional, and continuity model. Okay. How well, there are legal issues when you start work with cloud computing concepts. So apart from the people, it is about the government, functional, jurisdictional, and contractor. Okay. So this is the ultimate concept about the legal, what we discussed in the last class. Okay. And portability, interoperability. So that is one of the most useful concept behind the cloud. And security, so business continuity, and disaster recovery. So these are some of the few more concepts we have discussed up to last class. Okay. So today we'll go deeply about other basic concepts related to the cloud security. Okay. So coming to the application security, last class we have discussed about some of the major issues application security is having. That is authorization, so multi-factor authorization. So identity and access management will take care of these things. Okay. How the provider will handle the network security services. Okay. So add, update, revoke, audit. So this is a continuous process in a MNC. Okay. All the MNC will follow these things, and all the service provider also determine how to provide and handles. Okay. So provisioning, authentication, federation, authorization, and user profile management. Okay. So anybody trying to access into the particular Google account, or maybe trying to access into the server, or trying to access into the WhatsApp or Twitter, so you must have some PIN number identification, or you may use password. Okay. Apart from that, we have a two-step verification also. That is OTP. Okay. So these are the technique majorly used by the providers, the cloud providers. So they will provide the data, and we will use the data. Okay. If you want to use the data, start from your email, your remote service access, your mobile phone, your walkie-talkie, and your credit cards, ATM cards, debit cards. Okay, everything. So first they will add into their system server. So your name and your account details and your major idea about how you are going to use the system. Okay, whether you have biometric authentication, or you have OTP or password authentication. So that will be updated into the server. Then followed by they will revoke every time from the server. So keep on updating your details based upon the contract. So whether 1 month or 3 months or 1 year, so based upon that, they will maintain the profile into the server. So this is the identity and access management of the user from the provider side. Okay. So why we have these identity? identity and access management play the vital role. Okay, so how to deal with your data and manage your data, so without any disturbance. Okay. How the data is shared among different people and how it will be recovered from source to destination. Okay. These are the major idea about how to keep the data safe from one source to destination. Okay. Add, update, revoke, and audit. This for use for authentication purpose on the user side. So when you have these kind of profiles, okay, to maintain from source to destination, so how to manage these idea uh, into the multi-factor verification or authentication. So we have to rely on the provider. The provider will verify your identity. Every time you log in into the Gmail, you have to type your username, your password. Every time you open your mobile, so you have to draw the pattern or biometric or any PIN number. Or every time you do online transaction in cloud, you have to do the verification for OTP. Okay, so these things should be done, okay, before you are going to use any data, okay, into the cloud. Okay, so add, update, revoke, and audit based upon the user identity. Okay. So these are the different controls and methods used in a particular scenario for user to user. Every user, million user have million username and password and email IDs and password and PMID and password. Okay, so how these are connected together. So this is because of visualization. Okay, what type of visualization used by the provider? That is the first question. Okay, you can see the picture. Okay, so virtual infrastructure. Okay. Actually, we have only 2 server. Okay, but with the help of virtualization, we can make 10 or 15 also. Okay, so based upon the memory you are having. Okay. What third-party security technology augmented the virtual operating system? Which control protect admin interface export to the user? These are the 3 major questions, and what kind of virtualization is used by the provider. The provider may use infrastructure or maybe operating system or application or a software. Okay. Any of things. Okay. Any of these things or all the 3 can be virtualized. Okay. Virtual OS, virtual infrastructure, virtual network, virtual printers, okay, or virtual routers. So anything can be virtualized from the provider side. Okay. What third-party security? Okay, in a virtual OS we have. Okay. So in my laptop I have some antivirus software. I don't have firewall, but I am accessing cloud. So, but I don't know what security is having by the cloud service provider, maybe Amazon or maybe Microsoft Azure or something. Okay. So what kind of security they are having? Third-party security and technology. Okay. In a virtual OS, okay. We cannot believe what kind of features they are having, and it is more reliable. Even Zoom meetings also we are conducting. We don't know what kind of encryption and decryption technology they are using, and there is a threat of anybody can hack and they can access our server or our data. Okay. And what are the controls or which control protect the admin interface export to the user? Okay. I have virtual server. Okay. If I don't have proper control on my video or my mic or my data which is available in my computer, okay, if it is not protected, okay, that may be exposed to the end user. Okay. As a provider, we should protect our computer based upon the controls. Okay. If I enable or disable, suppose somebody is continuously talking, so I can remove that person from this room, or else somebody's mic is continuously on, I can switch off the mic, I can switch off the video. Okay, I can disconnect the person. Okay, so these are the some of the controls which is having by the admin or a host who is conducting the meeting. Okay. And the host can share the video or maybe a PDF file or a PPT file to the users. Okay, so and some of the control should be exposed to the user, and some of the control should be under the control of admin. Okay, so these are the major concept behind the visualization in a cloud security. When you are going for a visualization infrastructure in a cloud security, so you must aware of so what kind of visualization they are using and what kind of security they are using, and controls. So what controls can be used by the user and what controls can be used by the provider. So these things we must do, okay, or else it is difficult to manage the visualization infrastructure in a cloud security. So what are the possible solutions to make sure your data is more comfortable or your data is more protected in a cloud environment? Okay? So minimize lack of trust, and minimize loss of control, and minimize multi-tenancy. Okay? Because we all are using common physical infrastructure. Okay? Everybody using, you are not using my laptop, I am not using your data. Okay? We all are using the common infrastructure or common platform Zoom, okay, to conduct our meetings. Okay. So how much minimize this multi-tenancy? Okay. Million and trillion users using at the same time, the server will get more load, or there is a possible of attack. Okay. There is hackers can easily intrude, and there is a possible of intruder into the system. Okay. So everything should be minimized. Okay. Trust, there's a policy language and certification. So when you have encryption and decryption concept behind these kind of transaction from source to destination or a provider to consumer, okay, we must maintain the proper policy, okay, among all the users, and certificates also, security certificates, okay, encryption, decryption codes. Okay, it should be unique for each and every user, those who are using the applications or a software or a product in the system. And control, how can I control for the user? Only because of monitoring and alerting. Okay, last class also we discussed that if you have good control on your cloud security, so nobody can hack into your system, only by continuously monitoring. Okay, if I monitor all the students are attending the class properly, so those who are taking leave or not listening properly, so there will be action taken by the faculty. Okay, or somebody using this platform in different way, we can disconnect that person from the class. Okay, so monitoring is the only solution for managing all the activities in the cloud. Okay, so if you want to have good infrastructure, then you have to monitor. Okay, maybe it's a provider or maybe it's a service consumer. Okay, so that's why it is easy for manage. So monitoring and alerting, okay, and utilizing different clouds. Okay, so there may be a chance of using the cloud in different ways. So private, public, hybrid, and community. So you can utilize any of this. So most probably people are going for hybrid cloud. So combination of private and public, and private and community. So that will take a good chance for dealing with the cloud for easy access control management. Okay, if you have easy access control management, remote operation of your software or everything is cloud, even though you are in US or in UK, you can conduct your own class, you can watch what is happening in your share market, you can easily observe what is happening in your system. So access control management. Okay, and IDM play the major role in the loss of control. Okay, because if we don't have identity of the particular person accessing your data, it is difficult to identify or map the solution for it. Okay, if I know the IP address of the particular person accessing the server, then it is easy for me to contact that person, and we can request him to do the activity properly. Okay, or we can give warning for that person to manage the cloud properly. Okay, so this is what happened if I don't have the address or name of the particular person. How can I trust? Okay, so that's why identity management is very important for each and every cloud operator or internet service provider. If you want Airtel connection, mobile or internet connection, you have to submit your photo or address proof, okay, or ID proof. Both you have to give. You must have to submit ID proof and address. Okay. So after that only you will getting this username and password for accessing the internet or for accessing any kind of cloud management tools. Okay, that any tools we are using in cloud, you must have login. Okay, using your username and password. Okay. So these are some of the possible solution to have more secured cloud. Okay, so lack of trust, loss of control, and last concept everybody know that multi-tenancy. Okay. I would like to give my house for rent for somebody. Okay. So multiple tenants may have 10 house, 10 different multiple tenants may be occupying my space. Okay. There may be a threat for the security. Okay. I can't believe all the 10 people. Okay. Maybe there may be among all the 10, two may be in different mindset, or they may trying to take whatever the data I'm having in my house. Okay. So that's why it is better to reduce the multi-tenancy option in multiple way, so that may leads to the user can have control on the cloud. Okay, the cloud, everybody know that it is open source and it is common infrastructure. That means we are using a common physical infrastructure. So everybody on their own space. Okay. We can't say he did or some XY did something like that. Okay. We need to identify, okay, the multi-tenancy environment or loss of control environment. We must identify so who did and what he did and how he did. Okay. So all these can be the possible solution for tracking cloud security in a proper way. So another concept behind this loss of control, lack of trust, and multi-tenancy. Okay. So take back your control. Okay. It's maybe a data and apps may still need to be on the cloud, but can they manage it in some way by the consumer? Okay. So what are the controls I given for my user to unmute themselves, to control the video, to share something on the screen? Okay. Now I am taking back all the controls from the user. When the user started misusing the beautiful controls he is having, okay, whenever some consequences arise, okay, now I am taking back the control. Now minimize control for the user. Okay, so people started thinking and how to protect their data. The only solution is I can minimize the control. If I give maximum control to the user, okay, then user will disturb everyone. Okay, so 1 GB data per day allotted to him, he can do whatever he wants. Once the 1 GB data is expired, now internet speed is slow, he cannot do anything. Okay. And another thing is minimize lack of trust. Okay. How to increase the trust mechanism system? Okay, and I can use advanced technology, and I can improvise my policy and regulation based upon the region to region or country to country, or contracts, okay, can be renewed based upon the current scenario or current trends in the country. Okay, every 6 months I will renew the contract. Every 1 month I will renew the contract to protect the trust between the consumer and provider. Okay, I want to trust you, so with the help of cloud security, I should update the latest technology. I cannot use the old technology. Okay, so where people can easily hack the server, and that may be a loss for the company. Okay. So I have to revise the policy. So every 1 year or 2 years, I have to change the mechanism and regulation and legal issues. Everything can be improvised to improve the trust between the provider and the consumer. Right? If I want to trust the Geo or Airtel, so because of the speed of the connectivity, and I believe that the company is more trustable by the customer, where the technology, policy, and contracts are proper. And if the even though consumer may think the price of the internet connection is expensive, he will go for BSNL. Okay, so because BSNL is comparatively speed is low, even though the price is very reasonable. So I don't have trust on the Airtel. I will have trust on BSNL. So these are some service provider connections, maybe utilized properly based upon the trust between consumer and provider. Trust is the first thing. Okay, giving control or taking back control by the provider is different, but trust plays a major role between the consumer and the provider. When we minimize the multi-tenancy, okay, so there will be a chance of private cloud. So everybody in their private space. Now 1 terabyte which is given to the all the person. Okay, so one may use maximum, one person may use less, and one person may know what he is doing. So now I am going for private cloud instead of storing all the 10% into one common room for renting purpose. Now I am giving separate rooms for each and every person. Okay, that is coming under every person we have 1 GB data based upon their phone number and OTP. When I minimize the multi-tenancy, so there may be a good control in cloud security. Takes away the reason to use the cloud in the first place. Okay. So everybody will control their data properly. I have control on my data. Okay, how much data that day 2 GB I am using. Okay. So if it is over, the speed will be reduced. Okay. And I will be in control. Okay. And this is coming under private cloud concept. Okay. Each and every person allotted with some kind of data. Okay. Either he use or he don't use, that is his problem. But we are giving 2 GB per day. Okay. That is coming under strong separation. Strongly, we are separating each and every person with some data. We are not allowing them to use common physical infrastructure. Some of the thing is common physical infrastructure, but some of the things are coming under private cloud. If you pay and use, those are coming under common. There is a private cloud. And if you have free username and password, then it is common. Okay. Most cloud which is you are paying and using, so those are more secured. So that's why we go for multi-tenancy. This is one of the possible solution. We can monitor each and every person separately by using the private cloud, okay, not in public cloud. Okay. So bottom line on cloud computing security. It's engaging full risk management process for each case. Okay. But for small and medium organizations, cloud security may be a big improvement and cost saving may be a large. Okay. And for large organization, already have large secure data centers, main sweet spots, elastic service, internet facing services, and employee countermeasures listed above. Okay. So this is the some of the conclusion part where we can suggest to the organization, maybe a small or a medium or a large organization. So what will be the solution? How can we ask them to manage the data properly? Okay. So this depends upon case by case. Okay. Because when you are going for cloud, it is not safe. Risk is there. But when you have good cloud computing security with good security firewall and security software, okay, so there may be a chance of the companies or organization to run their data into the internet safely. Okay, to run their company in the internet safely. For small and medium organization, so the cloud security may be a big improvement. Okay. because the companies like TVS or Tata Motors, now they are started using cloud environment to connect all the branches in different locations. That is the first step for them. Maybe go for a textile industry also. Okay. Now they are all are connected through cloud. Or if you go for Zomato, those kind of services, door delivery services. Okay. They are also connected through. They are small organization, but they all are connected with the help of cloud. Okay. You have app which is available in Google Cloud or maybe Amazon Cloud. Just install, and whatever you want, you just order it. So within 1 hour, you will get your order delivered into your home. So why they are going for this concept? Because of the cost saving may be large. Okay, there is economics of scale. So now when you start using automated system to monitor their company activities, so there may be a chance of saving their money. They can avoid usage of manpower. They can increase everything automated. When you go for cloud, everything is automated. Okay. So I install app, I go for order. So million user order at the same time. So the product will be delivered in time also. So what is the solution for cloud computing security for a large organization? Okay. So most probably Google, IBM, HP. So these are very big corporate companies. Okay. So they have big secure data centers. Okay. And they have a lot of secured spots also around the world. They have different centers. That means virtual servers. They have different location. There's main suite spots. Okay, these spots are maybe assume that Google have their own server in United States, but they have different locations. South Asia, if they have in Singapore one server, in Chennai one more server. So these data centers will have the huge data which will be supplied by the customers. Okay. That is expanding. There is expanding day by day. That is coming under elasticity. Okay. Elasticity server is a service is one of the concept behind the cloud computing security. Okay. How they will think about to increase the cloud security features from one spot to another spot. Okay. Whether the same connection they gave for United States, the same feature is available for Singapore also, they have to verify. Okay. When they go for large organization, they already have a good secure data server, but a very good different location. So that is multiple spots or multiple location, multiple region servers are available using the concept of elastic services. And internet facing services also they have to supply 24/7 uninterrupted data to the consumer. Okay, I'm the consumer. I have the access of cloud from AWS. I paid $100 per month. Okay. I should get uninterrupted service if I have internet. Okay. If I don't have internet, so I cannot use the data or information from the server. Okay. So with the help of internet only, the big organization giving the services to the end user. Okay. The people like us, consumers, okay, we always depend on the cloud computing, but we have to ensure whether the data is secured. Okay, so in major two concepts, one is for small and medium organization, and one is for large organization. They have good infrastructure, but small and medium organization, if they enter into cloud, that is a big improvement. But the main concept is they can save a lot of money to protect their data. They have to pay some minimum money, but they can run the company with less cost. Okay, these are one-time investment. Once you set up your own cloud, okay, then it is easy to run the data 24/7. Your company process will be run without stopping anywhere. It is fully automated. Okay. The only thing we have to ensure your cloud service provider have strong security solution for you. Okay. if there is a strong security solution is there, then there is no hurdles. You can go on. You can go on with your data. Okay. So this is all about cloud computing security. So we'll stop here, and maybe in next class we can discuss about unit 5. Okay. So unit 2 chapters we have discussed. One is cloud security, and another portion is disaster recovery. So these are the some references where you can use, okay, or search, okay, what is the concept behind the cloud security. So some of the useful websites are there. So www.cloudsecurityalliance.org. Okay. All figures in this talk taken from this paper. Okay. Whatever the content which is we are using, you can verify from this cloudsecurityalliance.org. Okay. And you can use our book also, because textbook is very important compared to what we discussed now. Okay. So please follow the textbook. It will be more useful for you. Okay. And we have another two major cloud security references. One is cloud computing security issues by this Randy Marchini, BA Tech IT Security. Okay. And another thing, research in cloud security and privacy. So Purdue University, this Purdue University, you can go. Okay, just click this. Okay, you will get some clarity about okay, what is cloud security. And another last one is introduction to security and privacy in cloud computing. So this is by this Security and Privacy Plus Spring 2010 course at the Johnson Hopkins University by Rajiv Hansen. Okay, so the Hashan have this document where you can easily understand. So what is the concept behind this security and privacy in cloud computing? So 1, 2, 3, 4, and Cloud Security Alliance. So apart from that, other references as I gave, we can go for use cases also.